Okay, so I'm sure, as you all know, all of Skyblock has recently been voting for who they want to be as ministers. Mayor Aura, in their infinite wisdom, has closed the first election, and it's time to see exactly what those extra minister perks are. And first of all, before we get into that, there is now what seems to be a jail leaderboard. And inside the jail seems to be an I'm a Squid Kid NPC. Like, I want to see what's going on, but that means I have to punch a goon and go in jail. If you see what I mean, I don't really want to, but I feel like I have to just to find out. You guys, the second time I've punched a goon. Alright, no. And of course, with no context, can't really do anything. Guys, I might be cut. Is that it? Saying anything? At first I thought he was just straight up in the lobby and in jail, but he's not. Also, there's progress towards breaking, I guess, out of the jail. Yeah, Skyblock's pretty strange at the moment. But you already know there's people that are going to be going for the jail leaderboard. Probably more interesting than going for farming leaderboards. Now, what is interesting is I did just briefly have a look in the community, so where all of the ministers are. And I did realise that I'm a Squid Kid was missing, and I was wondering why we only have 6. I don't know what sort of perk he selected to end up in the goon jail, and also we now have a jail leaderboard. I don't know, it's strange. Let's just get out of here. While we're here, I think this is also a good reminder that the advent calendar is now here. Go ahead and collect the advent calendars once you've done the daily tasks. Never really much, but better than nothing. Also, I guess something else that we can clear up. So, before those ministers were elected, there was kind of speculation as to whether they would be able to make their own perks that they would be able to make themselves, or whether they would be pre-selected perks. Now, I'm 99.99999% sure that they're pre-selected perks that they could choose from. We'll see why in just a moment. And I think now is a good time to say, while I'm still in jail, that you should vote for me in the next election. Nitros with 2 eyes, the revolution is on. Unfortunately, mate, Dabbing Dingo, what a name, by the way. I don't think that's going to work. It's actually called Dabbing Dino, but it's still good. Okay, we're finally out of jail. Now it's the minister perks. But just before we get into that, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code Nitros, as it gets yourself 5% off. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. If you join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry, make some coins, make sure to join. Okay, so the ministers are not in the typical minister spot, considering there's more. You need to go up these ladders. You'll be greeted with the people. Now, it seems that 30 Virus actually has 2 perks, probably because he finished first in the election. First one is that, well, he has the mythological ritual, which is pretty interesting. And the second perk is Solo Worker, gain plus 5% mana regeneration when alone. However, mana costs increase by 10% when near another player. I don't think that's different. Okay. Technoblade's dad finished second. Now, this is actually really his perk is Voice of the People. Elected ministers' votes now count for 5,000. That's insane. That's crazy. That is a pretty interesting stat. Future mate, I think it's a perk. Aurelius is long-term investment. The elected minister will appear candidate with all of the perks in the next election cycle. I feel like this might have been the best perk to choose. It tells me probably first. Minister 5 is an electoral. What do you want? I'm a Squid Kid has betrayed us all by removing Mayor Aura's minion perk. If you want to speak to them, head to jail. No, move along if you don't want to end up in jail. Okay. That explains that. NFG, what's this? Fame increase. Vote counts for playing in the election. That's a pretty cool perk, actually. And Refractions perk is gain 10 bonus score on perks. That the hell is the name? One of the perks that Paul gives us. That's kind of cool. All in all, it's a pretty interesting time to be playing Skyblock. And of course, with the second election coming up in just 2 days, got to be time to vote for your bot. So I think from what I understand is the perks that we see on these ministers now are the base perks. Then I think shortly we'll see some custom perks assigned to these too. It'd be interesting to see how creative Hypixel lets with the perks. I still think a Russian roulette perk would be great, but unfortunately I don't have that choice to make. Now, something that I find pretty interesting is before Aura was actually properly elected, there was a lot of comparisons made to Dante. And Dante gave us some sort of memorabilia, like the Happy Mask and also the Talisman. But at the moment, there doesn't really seem to be any sign of that. I wonder if we'll see it in the next coming days or weeks. I wonder if there'll be anything. There's something I am actually a bit curious. If we read over this dialogue again from Electrical Goo. Good Kid has betrayed us all by removing Mayor Aura's Minion Union perk. Okay. That's like one of the main bad perks that Aura has. That's kind of cool. But if we actually go over to Mayor Aura and look at the active perks, still there. So I would have thought it would just be removed. But I guess once change, people will have different perks come back. So I assume it must be right in saying it's disabled, but it still shows as being active. To be honest, I really doubt it's like going to be on front of anybody's minds looking for offer. But if there's one thing for sure, right now is an insanely good time to do dungeons. So not only do you gain plus 50% dungeon XP, you also benefit from where's the luckier perk? Yeah, everyone is now luckier, so RNG meters fill quicker. And Refractions perk means that we gain plus 10 bonus score on dungeon runs. It is literally like Paul, but, you know, like he's been on steroids pretty much. I don't know how else to say. You know, Paul has now turned into the Incredible Hulk. Now, something I think that's pretty interesting is that Future 77 finished third in this election, and he doesn't have a perk. Now, I've been trying to think why this could be, and my only sort of guess would be that he voted for himself in the election. And because if you vote for yourself, if you voted for yourself in that election, there was a different sort of like text that it would give you, basically saying that you would pay for voting for yourself. So my only thought could be that probably is a joke he voted for himself, and that made him have no perk. Because I'm pretty sure he was online when the election took place. Pretty much quashes my theory of him not selecting a perk. I don't know. Yes. And also something else that I'd be wondering, is if the people who've been elected in this election can also be elected in the next election. Or if they can. I assume they probably... I don't really know, to be honest. Guess time will tell and we shall see. But anyway, that's going to be all for today. Now remember, in the next election, vote for Nitros with 2 eyes. We realistically probably don't have a chance if those people can be elected again. But it's worth a try. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of all of these Minister perks. I think it's pretty cool, regardless of if the perks are good or not. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.